Clair Obscur Expedition 33 is one of the greatest gaming experiences of all time and is very easily my 2025 Game of the Year. But like all things, even though Clair Expedition is a 10 out of 10, it is not perfect. It has one major flaw that I personally have found with its ending. Spoilers ahead for the entirety of Clair Expedition 33. So for the most part, throughout the entire game, there aren't a lot of choices that you have to make. There are small choices here and there. There is a little bit of romance that you can engage in. There are small character choices that you can make in terms of conversations that you can have with your other party members to expand your relationships and get more information about them and get more lore. But there aren't a lot of individual choices that change your ending. At the very end of the game, you have two choices between two endings. But the issue that I found with that choice is that the choice that leads you to the quote-unquote bad ending was not properly set up to make it be an actual bad choice. To understand what I mean, I have to give you a brief synopsis of the entire story. The story of Clair Obscur Expedition 33 follows the characters Miguel, Gustave, Verso, Ciel, Lune, and Monogo. In their world, there is a paintress who paints a new number on a monolith in the distance, counting down. That number represents the age that you will reach before dying, and it is consistently counting down year after year. So each subsequent generation is dying younger and younger. The goal of the protagonists are to eliminate the paintress and prevent her from painting any more numbers and causing another gommage, which is the widespread death that happens every time she paints a new number. Throughout history, there have been multiple expeditions every year that set out to stop the paintress, and over, those expeditions have failed. You play as Expedition 33. Throughout the story, you watch your friends suffer and die for this mission. This is the reality of the world. You are doing this, enduring this expedition, going through trials and tribulations, and risking death to save everyone from this fate. Throughout the story, it is revealed that the world that encapsulates all of these realities is in fact not a reality. It is a quote-unquote painted world created on a canvas that is helping a family of painters known as the Descent family deal with the grief of losing their son, Verso. So for all intents and purposes, the world that you've been fighting for is fake. None of it matters. None of it's real. It's all made from the imagination of this family. And therein lies the problem. At the end of the game, in the final moments, you are given a decision. You are to choose between Mayel living her life in this painting and continuing to live life in this fake reality, which will eventually drive her insane because of the nature of residing in a canvas, or destroying the canvas and the world and stopping Verso from continuing to paint that canvas. But why do I say that ending is flawed? Why do I say that decision isn't as impactful as it could be? The reason I say that is because they completely fail to make it feel like the world is truly a fake world. Throughout the story, we learn that one of the characters that was part of our expedition, Mayel, was actually a painter from the real reality who entered the canvas and was painted over by her mother, the paintress, and ended up being sort of reborn as an individual. So she lived life in Lumiere as one of the citizens, under the impression that the world she was living in was real. She was born to parents and raised by her foster brother, the other character, Gustav, up until 16 years of age before embarking on this expedition, and then eventually finding out that she is actually Alicia, a painter from outside the canvas. She then regains her memories, remembers that her real brother Verso is actually dead, and the Verso that she's been traveling with is a fake painted version. This especially does not help make the world feel fake in the ending. She has lived a whole other life in the canvas. 16 years of age is not extremely old, but it also isn't a negligible amount of time. She's made family, she's made friends, she has real relationships with the people in Lumiere. Ciel, Lune, Gustave are all real people to her. At no point does it make it feel like they have no agency. They have lived their own lives. All of the other expeditioners are 32 years old. That is a lot of life to live, and for that to just be ripped away at the end to say, hey, we need to destroy this entire reality because for all intents and purposes it's fake, just doesn't work if you never made it feel fake.
Alicia.
Actually, I prefer Maya.
I think I do too. But I'm not really Versa, and you're not really Mael, are you?
You're not Verso, no. You look and sound just like him, but you're you. I'm still Mael, though. You should have helped me remember.
Yeah, I wanted to, but I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, dear. If I'd listened to Mama, if I hadn't trusted the writers, Verso would still be alive, and you
Wouldn't exist.
wouldn't be caught in the middle. Mama did a terrible thing, painting you into Verso's canvas, giving you his memories, pretending the fire only took me. But I'm glad you exist.
Your father was right to erase everyone is better this way.
Better for who? Verso would never have wanted his canvas gone. He loved Esquier and his gestrels and Grandis.
It was killing our mother. Staying here so long in a make-believe world with her make-believe family.
It's not make-believe. It's not. You're not to me. Papa's here. He'll help me fix Lumiere.
Will he?
Maman painted a rather unflattering portrait of him. He's much warmer than the Renoir, you know.
I bet.
Let's take a look at some of our other companions. If you take the time and interact with your other companions throughout the story, you can grow your relationship with them. And what that allows you to do is to learn more about them, their personal lives, and their backstory. Ciel, for instance, was married to a man who was older than her, and because of this, she knew that based on the reality of their world, he would go mage and be erased by the paintress sooner than she would. But unfortunately, he died in a different way. Ciel's husband was killed in an accident on an island near Lumiere, and his body was washed away by the ocean. Ciel was pregnant at the time, and she was so stricken with grief that she attempted suicide and was recovered, but unfortunately had a miscarriage. This is an insane level of detail to provide for characters that we are supposed to believe are fake. And we are supposed to, at the end, make the decision to erase.
I understand why your mother did what she did. She wanted to feel closer to her son, to still feel Verso's presence.
Would you have created a copy of Pierre? If you could. Knowing it wouldn't be the real thing.
If you asked me now, then no. I've seen how this torments you. I wouldn't wish that on others. But if you had asked me back then, I would have done anything to see him again. To hear his voice. To feel his arms around me. Every day, I just felt the lack of him. The negative space he used to inhabit. The dip in the chair where he sat. The hollow of his shoes. The emptiness inside his jacket. You want to know why I dislike water? I tried to drown myself.
What?
When I lost Pierre, I tried to swim away from Lumiere. I swam for as long as I could. As far as the waves would carry me. Until I could no longer swim. But I woke up the next day in Lumiere. On the docks. I was alive. And I have no idea what happened. What I didn't know then, what the hospital told me, was that I was pregnant. But that I had lost the child.
Ciel.
I desperately want Maëlle to bring everyone back. To bring Pierre back. But I don't know how to tell him. I lost our baby. She would have been 6.
I'm so sorry.
Dark and personal, right?
I've had similar thoughts before. Not of drowning specifically, but, you know, it would solve a lot of problems. For everyone.
So,
It's a choice. Like any other choice.
it is.
A woman like that, who is so tortured from her past, is just supposed to be ignored and not considered real because what? Because she's in a world that's been created by some higher power, and so that world doesn't technically count? It just doesn't make much sense to me. We feel so much grief for everyone. We feel grief looking at the relationship Lune's parents had with her. They saw her as a tool and not as a daughter. Her life was just there to be an extension of their mission, and she was only there to continue their mission, and that's how people looked at her. Monoko loses his son during the story, and we feel his grief, and we go with him to try to resurrect his son. These are all story beats that can be revealed to us. And it feels strange to make it seem like the good ending is to erase all of them. Now, I do not like to criticize something without a solution. I feel the way that this could have been remedied was to make it abundantly clear how fake the world was. They tried to when you end the paintress and you stop the gomage. Once the countdown is ended, everyone in the world gomages, and that's when it's revealed who Alicia really is, and we see her real life and find out that Mael was just the painted version of her, and the real version is Alicia. But I don't think they go far enough. I think a better way of explaining how fake that world is when Alicia is dealing with Renoir, her father. He should constantly repaint the world around her to show her how fickle it all is, because in actuality they have the ability to manipulate chroma and the world around them at will. So if in that conversation he made it clear that, listen Alicia, these people you've grown attached to, I understand, but look how easily I can change them. And he turned Lune into a boy, or turned Ciel into a dog, or changed their hair color or eye color at the wave of his hand, and showed that they were all so malleable because they weren't real. It would make us understand more. Oh wow, this world really is more fake than we have already been explained. Because as far as we've seen, yes, we understand that it's fake, but their lives have felt so real. If you give us an example of how fake they are by showing how easily they can be changed, then we can think in the back of our mind, yes, their lives felt real, but it was so easy to change them that they really aren't real. Because at the end of the game, when we see the choice that's in front of us, it really doesn't feel like it's a punishment to send Mael back into that world and let her live out her life with the people she's grown up with for the past 16 years. Even acknowledging the corruption of the canvas, we can in our mind justify that corruption and believe that perhaps she is stronger than her mother, and perhaps she will find a way to break through that corruption and not go insane from being in a canvas. Because it feels like the negatives don't outweigh the positives. The only true negative besides losing herself to the canvas that we see is that Verso wishes to be unpainted because he is tired of being a fake version of Alicia's dead brother. And the question is, does this one painted individual's life matter more than the lives of the entirety of the population of this painted world? And personally, I say no. But let me know what you think. Thanks so much for watching. For those who come after, and behave yourselves.
Obscur